This isn't just food. This is the story of a nation. Pho is synonymous with Vietnam. It fuels families, workers, world leaders. So when you devour this bowl of broth, meat and noodles, you're devouring history. But where did it come from? What does it tell us about Vietnam's past? And what about the future? It's not always easy to explain where a dish comes from. The story changes as it's passed down from generation to generation, seasoned with culture and served with a dollop of national pride. When it comes to pho, most people start the story in the late 19th century when the French colonised Vietnam. The French brought their tastes in administration, architecture and cuisine. But the locals found some of their customs a little strange.
Cows are not slaughtered for food. Cows, like buffaloes, were used to plough the fields. But you know the French are meat eaters and they are very fond of their beef steak. So when the best cut was used for the French masters, it was believed that the leftover bones are used by the Vietnamese to create a broth.
The broth, infused with Vietnamese spices, was poured over noodles and a star was born. The name pho is said to have come from the French stew pot au feu, meaning pot on the fire, but it didn't become a national sensation straight away.
Pho actually was created in a small village called Vân Cù after the French installed a textile industry. To start with, it's just a cheap street food for those workers, but soon it becomes very popular.
When the French shut down those factories, workers migrated to Hanoi, and soon pho was being sold all over the city. But big changes were coming to Vietnam and this dish. During World War II, Imperial Japan invaded Vietnam and overpowered the French. The French tried to reassert control after Japan's surrender in 1945.
The struggle is a grim affair. The French are reported to have suffered even more severely than the Americans in Korea.
But revolution was in the air, and after a decade of fighting with the French, Vietnam was split into ideological opposed regions. As another war loomed, thousands fled the communist north.
It was the exodus of 1954 that really brings the pho to the south and turned the pho into a beloved dish of all the Vietnamese.
These migrants didn't just bring pho to the south, they changed it. Chef Ha Nguyen runs a cooking school in Melbourne and says pho from the north is different from pho from the south. It all comes down to culture, climate and ingredients.
With the north, we eat it for breakfast. Southerners, they eat it throughout the day, so they got bigger portion and a lot of other things in it. In the north, it's quite cold. We have to reserve our monies and our food. In the south, because you got the sun and you got the water, they can be generous. So then it means a lot more meat, a lot more vegetable, a lot more herbs.
So, which is better?
A little bit rivalry within the Vietnamese community, and they all think that their food is still better than the others. Even in my domestic household, we got two. I'm from the north, my partner from the south, and quite often we have to not argue, but we'll say that, okay, that's what we're going to have. The other time, that's what we're going to have.
The war that locals call the American War sent Vietnamese people, and with them pho, across the world. The dish came to Australia by waves of refugees escaping the conflict.
Pho is clearly more than just a dish, and a pho restaurant is not just a place where you go to eat. It is a recreated homeland. A little piece of Vietnam that the diaspora was trying to find and to recreate.
Vietnam's diaspora remains divided over history and politics. But while pho can be served in different ways, from the subtlety of the north to the richness of the south, there is only one Vietnam.
The southerners or the northerners are both very proud of their pho. I think that pho could be one of the dishes that allows the Vietnamese to reconcile. That dish represents the Vietnamese soul and essence.